In this video, I'd like to introduce an activity that you can use to determine whether or not your students are ready to pass the green level and start entering the intermediate section here at Happy Fish. Now, just a quick reminder, what we're trying to do for the beginner levels at Happy Fish is to teach our kids a set of skills that will allow them to push away from a wall or a set of stairs or jump into the water and use skills like front floating, back floating, and basic arm and leg movements to get back to safety. Before you get into the test, I want to make sure that your students have enough practice in the shallow end building up those basic skills to build their confidence. Have your students practice going underwater, floating on their front, adding arm and leg motions to get from point A to point B. And of course, practice floating on your back, keeping your nose and your mouth above the surface of the water. And even throw in some arm movements that mimic a bird flapping their wings to help keep them afloat on their back. And now here's a 3-step process that can get your kids comfortable letting go of the wall in the deep end or even jumping into the water and getting back safely. Have your students practice in the shallow end by holding on the wall, gently pushing off on your back, taking a quick breath, putting your head back into the water, and kicking and swimming back to the wall. As the instructor, you may need to help them a little bit transitioning from a back float position to a front float position so that way they can kick and swim on their front. Once they can do this in the shallow end, then move over to the deep end and try it there. Students may feel a little bit more nervous because they can't touch the ground, but as the instructor, you'll be there to help them take a breath whenever they need it. The last part is having your kids enter the water from outside of the pool. You can either have them sit on the edge and push their way into the water, roll over, take a breath, and then get back into a horizontal position and swim back to the wall. And another fun way to do this is to practice jumping into the water, surfacing for air, and then getting back into a swimming position, and then kicking and swimming back to safety. All in all, we want our kids to understand that the skills that they learned in the beginning section, front floating, back floating, kicking, winging, and swimming on their front, can all be used to help them when they jump into a pool and they can't stand or they let go of the wall in the deep end, that they can get back to safety. I hope that you saw a good way to combine skills to help test for a student's overall understanding of swimming. And if you find another or better way to test your kids out of the beginner section at Happy Fish, have at it. Until then, feel free to use this method. Good luck.